Hello, friends. My name is Kirby Moore. I'm the founder of Trauma Informed Astrology, and I created traumainformedastrology.com. I am making this video today to introduce Trauma Informed Astrology, to introduce myself, and to tell you a little bit about the first course, which is now ready and out and available, ready for viewing. So let's get started with a little PowerPoint on introducing who I am. Okay, here's a nice picture from NASA. So welcome to Trauma Informed Astrology. Introducing myself, Kirby Moore. Who am I? So I started studying astrology, more like spiritual astrology, back in 2003. My teachers included teachers in the Isabel Hickey lineage of spiritual astrology. Gary Brand, he was more of a Hellenistic astrologer, and he taught me a lot of great ancient techniques from the Greeks and from Ptolemy, along with more technical skills in working with the chart and horoscopes in general. I also learned astrocartography from him, looking at the astrology, looking at the birth charts of cities and comparing that to individuals to see where people should move. So location astrology. Then in 2005, I started studying craniosacral therapy and Zapchin somatics. So craniosacral therapy is really beneficial for connecting people with big spaciousness, archetypal healing, and what's called the breath of life, or the health which is never lost. So I include some things from craniosacral therapy in trauma-informed astrology. So you'll see a few of those ingredients in what I offer. Zapchin somatics is a system of somatic tools and exercises from Julie Henderson. She is in California, in Napa, California, and she's been teaching Zapchin for over 40 years. She first wrote the book The Lover Within back in the 1980s and made a name for herself with that, and then refined it even further over time to produce a series of like 60 exercises called Zapchin, which really help us to move skillfully and playfully and easily down out of our heads and into our bodies. Zapchin is all about moving toward well-being. What is that like to do that? So I am a Buddhist practitioner, a non-dual practitioner. I was raised Christian. I've explored Sufism, a lot of different religions and spiritual paths. So I have a lot of deep respect for various religious and spiritual paths. I've studied chakra work, esoteric healing, shamanism, in addition to other forms of body work. Let's see here, some of which here I mentioned. I am a licensed massage therapist, so that's my license to touch with that. And I have completed numerous meditation and somatic retreats. I have completed at least 7 or 8 10-day retreats where we focused a lot on Zapchin somatics and deepening embodiment, deepening somatic awareness, deepening awareness of the tissues and what's in different body parts, in the joints, etc. And I've also attended many Buddhist retreats. So at least 8 to 10 teaching retreats that were 2 weeks long. I've attended at least a dozen 10-day retreats where we practiced from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. every day. And then in 2020, I completed my first 90-day retreat. That was semi-closed, where I could write letters to people, but otherwise it was a closed retreat, and did Tibetan Buddhist practice for 90 days straight with a small group of people. And that was an amazing experience to really deepen my practice even further. I have my bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Virginia. I studied a lot of biopsych classes there, so the neuroscience classes. I loved those. And little did I know back in 2007 that I would be teaching nervous system material today. So I have encountered the anatomy of the nervous system a number of times. I also made it halfway through nursing school before a health issue forced me to leave that. But I learned a lot in that process as well. In 2012, I started working with the polyvagal system and body work and lineage from Kathy Kane's trainings of touch for trauma therapist work. So that's where I really got my first introduction to the vagus nerve and its importance in regulating the nervous system. I started studying birth process work in 2013 with Myrna Martin. And then in 2016, 2017, I went even deeper with birth process work and the pre and perinatal psychology. I did a lot of training with Myrna in British Columbia, Canada. And then I continued to watch her video series, which is 90 hours long, basically. And so I did a lot of those assignments as well. I have my somatic experiencing practitioner certificate. So that's a 3-year training. So I am an SEP. And then I continued to deepen the somatic experiencing work with taking Raja Selvam's work and taking somatic experiencing deeper and really focusing on emotional embodiment. So Raja's work is called Integral Somatic Psychology. So I just finished with that training a few months ago, and I love that work. If you're interested in looking at Raja's work, you can easily look up Integral Somatic Psychology and find his trainings. I'm not licensed to teach that, so I'm not doing that, of course. But a few little pieces here and there I might drop in from time to time. Yeah, so that's about me. I love working with the nervous system. I love doing trauma resolution work. I've been working with moms and babies and working with birth trauma since 2015, 2016. Yeah, and so I love developmental psychology and looking at that. And down the road, it is my intention, probably in 2024, so next year, teaching a class on developmental psychology and the astrology chart. So that will be included in the trauma informed platform of courses. Yeah, so that's my background. And yeah, so back in 2018 or 2019, I first started blogging about trauma-informed astrology when I realized, wow, you can really see birth patterns in the astrology chart. You can really see trauma in the astrology chart. And so that's when I started talking about trauma-informed astrology for the first time on my blog, which is astrodharma.me. I will include links to these things below these videos. So don't worry about that too much. Yeah, and then in 2021, I taught my first trauma-informed astrology class. I was feeling things out, figuring out how much I can get into a class, and so I tried to do a lot in that first course back in the spring of 2021. It was a great experience, great learning. It was a nice small group, so there were wonderful questions asked. I got to really learn the material more as I taught it. And then last year in 2022, I began working more with Emily Lamoureux, who you will see in the Nervous System Foundations course. If you sign up for that course, she helps me with a number of videos. And so she's the one who really helped to plant the seeds of, Kirby, I think this could be really big. I think you should make this a big platform. We should teach courses. And so she really lit a fire under me, as it were, to get trauma-informed astrology out there. And so for the past 8 months or so, we've been working on the website, on the Teachable site, and on the videos for the first course. So the Nervous System Foundations course, I will share another video next about that. But yeah, so trauma-informed astrology includes somatic exercises, embodiment tools, nervous system repair, nervous system theory, and Western astrology, and how all of these things blend together. When you look at the astrology chart, you can see so much about the nervous system, about patterns of dysregulation and patterns of health, patterns of resource, and patterns of aliveness. You can see all of this in the astrology chart once you know what you're looking for. And so because these categories are so big, for instance, somatic exercises and embodiment tools, many people have just made a career out of that alone, right? Even just one little facet within somatics can be a great career, right? So this is a very ambitious project, the Trauma Informed Astrology, blending all of these things together. It is a big, ambitious goal, dream of mine that I'm so glad is coming to fruition now. It is manifested. The classes are being worked on, and we are offering these classes today. And then, of course, so nervous system repair, nervous system theory, trauma resolution, that's another huge category. And so there are many people who just study the vagus nerve. There's many people who just study different facets of trauma resolution, and they make their career out of that. So that alone is a big topic. And then when you throw in Western astrology as well, I realized that doing one class to involve all three of these huge categories would be too much. So therefore, the first main course of Trauma Informed Astrology is called Nervous System Foundations. So in Nervous System Foundations, we cover nervous system repair, we cover what is trauma, we cover the trauma-informed principles, what is resilience, what is embodiment, and we go really deep into nervous system repair or nervous system theory. So we introduce the nervous system. We even introduce the vagus nerve in the first class. But there's not much astrology in the first course. So just in case you're wondering, if you sign up for the course and you're like, where's the astrology? That is in level 2. So level 2 will be entitled Western Astrology and the Polyvagal System. So level 2 will include 70% of that will be astrology. So we'll start talking about what might trauma look like in the astrology chart. How can we start to resource it? How can we start to work with it? How can we recognize it and therefore know when to slow down, use skillful means with different types of clients? So we will cover all of that in level 2. And so therefore in level 1, we stick with the nervous system repair. We introduce somatic exercises. There's about 10 somatic exercises and embodiment tools that you can learn and practice on your own for 4 to 6 weeks, and then start doing those with your own clients. Yeah, and so we are very excited to be getting this process started. And so the one theme, if you look back throughout my background, craniosacrotherapy, Zapchen somatics, Buddhist practitioner, different retreats, working with the polyvagal system, birth process work, SEP, ISP, the integral somatic psychology. Almost all of this work here that I've done, the main theme that goes through it all is the transformation of suffering. I want to benefit people right now, right here. I want to teach people how to relieve their own suffering. It's my intention to teach people to move towards self-regulation. So self-regulation as I can use these tools myself. Eventually, I can start to regulate my own nervous system. Now we know if somebody has high anxiety or other issues, other trauma issues, maybe trauma symptoms, you might say, if somebody has a lot of stuff going on, it's going to be hard to self-regulate at first, which makes sense. And so that's why we work with a skillful practitioner to start to co-regulate first. So we work with somebody who has done a lot of nervous system repair on themselves, like myself, for instance. I've been doing this for 18 years. And so we start with co-regulation. We are sort of pinging off of a really healthy person's nervous system at first. And then my nervous system realizes, oh, I can settle down, I can slow down, I can calm down, I can come down out of my head into my heart, into my body, into the potency and creativity of my pelvis, for instance. And we talk about all this stuff in the Trauma Informed Astrology courses. So that's a little bit about me. And so I will pause this recording for now. And then in the next video, we will talk about the three main courses of Trauma Informed Astrology and the certification process to get certified. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.